Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm going to talk about kind of some weird DIY hacks that work, and they may sound strange, but they do work. And it's usually when you're in the middle of a DIY project, it's a furniture flip, it's something else, and you're like, okay, I need it to do this. So what do I have around me that may work? And then you find out, oh my gosh, this actually does work. So I'm going to start off by saying that it's not going to work 100% of the time. Every project is going to be different, but these are some things that you can try if you're up for trying something new, or if maybe you're in a bind and you're like, I need this to do this, so let me just try this. These are just little hacks that have worked in the past, so I thought I'd kind of get the list together and share some of these with you. And some of these you may have heard about, and some of them you may have tried or done before. Okay, so hack number 1, Vaseline for like a distressed look or distressed painting. Have you ever heard of that? So what you're going to do is, before you paint your piece, so it's a piece of furniture that you want a distressed look, you're going to apply the Vaseline to the areas where you want the original finish to show through. So like edges, corners, or anywhere that would naturally have wear over time. That's where you're going to apply the Vaseline. Now, you don't need massive globs of Vaseline, but then once you get the Vaseline where you want it, then you're going to paint right over it. And then once the paint dries, you'll go over, like you'll use a cloth and you'll wipe away the areas that you had the Vaseline on. And since the paint is not going to stick to the Vaseline, it's going to, when you wipe it away, that it's going to leave the naturally worn appearance, right? Because you're going to see the wood tones or whatever it is underneath pop through. So I have written a whole post about ways to, get a distressed look. And back in the day, I sold so much furniture with a distressed look. So I've tried a lot of different ways, and there's, and every project is different, like I said. So you can get the distressed look in so many ways. And sometimes you want it to look different, and you want it to look, I'm kind of going off I'm kind of making a little bit of a sharp left turn here. So I'm going to stop myself. But Vaseline is one way that you can try a distressed look. If you've got, just try it on a piece of wood and see how it works. The next one, hack number 2, rubber bands for strip screws. There is nothing worse. We actually just redid our deck. We have like a small deck off of our back porch that we added to the house a few years ago. And it was just time, like the deck, the floorboards, they just needed replaced. And then, and then the steps needed replaced. Anyway, so just having to, take out old screws and stuff, and strip screws are the worst sometimes. They actually have tools and stuff that you can buy for it, but just try this hack and see if it works. Take a regular, rubber band and place it over the head of the strip screw. Then put your screwdriver into the rubber band and turn it. So the rubber band's going to give the screwdriver extra grip so that you can usually get the screw out without having to drill or, resort to like drastic measures. And, you're getting out like what is it called? Is it the reciprocating saw or whatever? Sometimes it's just like, there's nowhere to go but to cut it off. So try that next time you have a stripped screw. It just gives the rubber band just gives enough friction to fill in the gaps where the head of the screw has been stripped. So it just, it allows to get a better grip. And sometimes especially it's like when you're teaching your teenager how to use a drill or something to get a screw out, or to put one in. And it's like, they don't stop. And it's like, you're going to strip the screw if you keep, doing it when it's not working. And so, it's like I said, some of these aren't going to work every single time, but yet just knowing some of these hacks, it's kind of good to have it in your back pocket, because something my grandpa actually taught my dad, and my dad's the one that taught us a lot of our DIY stuff, is to always try the simplest thing first. So, and that's from anything in our house. So anytime like something goes out, and in this past year of 2024, we have had, like I've said before in previous podcasts this year, it's not been a good year, but anytime something like stops working or whatever, it's always like, wait a minute, just, did the plug come out? It's always try the simplest things first. So like the rubber band for a strip screw, try it. It's the simplest thing. Before you get the saw out or whatever, always try the simplest thing first. My grandpa taught my dad that when he was teaching. My grandpa was an electrician, and so he would teach my dad a lot of things. And so my grandpa would always say, try the simplest thing first. Like, don't just result to, taking the whole thing apart, or like you have to get a brand new one. Like, sometimes it is just the simplest thing that will work. This next one, baking soda for wood filler. So when you need to fill holes or cracks in wood, try using baking soda and super glue. It sounds weird, but just listen. Sprinkle a little bit of baking soda into a hole or a crack, and then add a few drops of super glue. The two will harden together almost instantly, and then it'll form a rock solid filler that you can then sand and then paint over. This is especially useful for small holes left by like screws or nails. I have my favorite wood fillers that I swear by, and I always, always, always have those on hand. So this one is something that I just always have my favorite fillers on hand. So, but this is one that you can try out if there's, you run across a project like that. The baking soda reacts with the super glue, and it just forms a quick drying compound that mimics wood filler almost. So not almost, but you know what I mean? It just mimics that same thing. It's super cheap and easy. You probably have all that stuff on hand. So try that next time you need to fill a hole. Aluminum foil for painting. So this one's more of kind of like a cleaning hack, especially when you're painting like walls and you've got a paint tray, and then it is a mess. It can become a mess, but line your trays with aluminum foil before you pour the paint in it. The thing that's great about aluminum foil is you can literally form all that foil to the actual paint tray. You know what I mean? Like perfectly. And then when you're done painting, you could just peel off the foil and toss it. And so there's no messy cleanup. And then you can use this for, like bigger trays, bigger pans, smaller pans. And then, you just need a quick rinsing, even if you need that. Dryer sheets. Okay, hack number 5. Try dryer sheets for sanding. Dryer sheets. They say you should wipe down your like baseboards with dryer sheets, and that your baseboards won't attract dust as much. So if you've just finished sanding and you need to clean off all the dust, grab a dryer sheet. Rubbing it over the wood will help pick up the fine dust particles more effectively than a regular cloth. So you can buy the tack cloths. To be honest, I don't buy tack cloths. I just don't. I either use a damp cloth. You can use this hack for a dryer sheet. If you rub a dryer sheet over a piece of wood before you sand, it will help reduce the static and prevent dust from sticking to the surface as much while you work. So it's kind of like a double hack with dryer sheets, but dryer sheets reduce static, right? So it just makes dust less likely to cling to the surface. So I was talking about the baseboards, same concept, right? So yeah, you can definitely try that. But like the tack cloths, I don't buy them. I just don't feel like you need to waste some money and buy them, but you definitely can. Hack number 6. This is the last one I'm going to share. Freezer for old paintbrushes. This one works a lot for a lot of people. And here's my thing. So So if you obviously, and you probably know this one. So if you, you're painting something and then you're not done, but it's like midnight and you're ready to go to bed. So you put your wet paintbrush get most of the excess off, obviously, but then you put it in plastic wrap or a plastic bag and then you throw it in the freezer. So this keeps the paint from drying out on the brush so that when you're ready to start again, you can just thaw it out for a few minutes and pick it up where you left off. So I shared this one because I think it's the most popular, but here's the thing. I don't put it in the freezer. So we have been together. We will be married October 21st. We will be married 24 years. We got married in 2000. We were together 2 years before that. So we've been together a long time. We've painted so many things in those 26 years before we knew what we were doing and after. And I have tried to put it in the freezer. Like I thought, okay, I heard, this is what you do. I have not found like it's any better. So the main trick is you need to make sure that you have the entire brush and all the bristles are covered with your plastic. And then I just will leave them out. Like I'll lay them by the sink or something. Because if you have any kind of air going in there, it's going to dry out. So if you just wrap them really well with plastic, you should be good to go. We are always good to go. If you are somebody that throws it in the freezer, I would love to hear from you. Like, do you think, and have you tried it both ways? So I've tried it both ways, freezer or not. And I not even freezer, just in your fridge. I've heard a lot of people that put it in the fridge. And maybe that's for people that are like, oh, I'm going to get to this in 4 days. Like maybe that makes a difference. But if I don't clean out, usually if I'm done painting with a paintbrush, I'm cleaning it out that day. 9 times out of 10, that's what I'm doing. But there are those times, especially when we have like a flip house or we're doing more of like a whole room or something where, I'll have to get to it the next day. So I'm not ever leaving a paintbrush for 4 to 5 days or whatever. So maybe if you're leaving it longer than that, it's better to put it in the freezer or the fridge. And you guys let me know. I would love to hear from you if you've tried both or why you prefer one over the other. But for me, the plastic wrap, laid on the counter for the next day has always worked. So that's what we do. I just found like putting it in the freezer or the fridge I didn't see the difference. I guess that's what I should say. But so many people do it. So definitely try it. You can try it both ways, see what you like. But I thought this would be a fun little podcast to do because I love hacks for all kinds of things. Like if you can show me a hack that's going to make me cook faster, clean better, cook better, DIY better. I am all about trying it. So I thought there's not that many. There were only 6 here I shared today. I just thought that these little tricks might help you in a project that you have coming up, or just keep these in your back pocket and try them. And if you do try them, I would love to hear from you. If you have tried them, I would love to hear from you. Email me, Lindsay@mycreativedays.com. Reach out to me on Instagram @mycreativedays. I love hearing from you guys. If you have a podcast topic, question, idea, whatever it is, I love hearing those too. They always give me great ideas for content and what I should be recording. So same, email, Instagram. I won't share your name, but I love to hear from you and I love to hear your ideas and what you'd like to hear. So let me know if you try these or if you have tried these, or if you have more hacks that you would add to this, send that to me as well. I would love to do a follow-up podcast with your hacks that you send in to me. So send them. I don't care how crazy they are. Send them in to me. And if we get enough sent in, I would love to do a follow-up podcast to this. So until next time, I hope you have a great day and I will talk to you very soon. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week. Bye-bye.